Alright, so I was talking in the one video about adding work lights to the back of this truck. Well, I got them on. I did this yesterday night. Today's Labor Day, but the bugs are out. I put two spotlights down here, kind of angled out, and these lights up here, they're kind of a floodlight, but they're shining straight out and down. They make a big difference, as you'll see later in the video, but I would like to add a couple more, maybe. But I'll show you what I had to do to hook them up. Now, there's a few videos out there. There's not a lot of videos, believe it or not, about how to wire lights into the auxiliary switches on these cabin chassis, or if you have a pickup truck that has the auxiliary switches. But if you don't know what I'm talking about, this being the cabin chassis, it has auxiliary switches. Shut up. 1, 2, 3, 4, and this one has a PTO. If you don't have the PTO, it'll be number 5. 1 and 2 are battery fed, so if I push them, they turn on. 3 and 4 do not, they are keyed. Now, you can go into the settings in the dash and change that. But I'm going to leave 1 and 2 battery fed. And I might, if I put more lights on the back, I'll hook them up to number 2. But on these trucks, you have a dark gray plug here. And I didn't put them little caps back in. I'm going to have to get them out of the case I got them in. But there's little green plugs like this that are supposed to be in there. And this truck came with a wiring harness. These two are for the PTO. The ones with the little black rings on them are for those upfitter plugs. And these littler ones have something to do with the PTO as well. I don't know exactly what all that does, but what I did, these here are numbered. This is 1, 3, 2, and 4. I believe 5 is that one, if you have that option, and then the other ones are PTO, I think. But if you have 1 through 4, you're going to worry about these. So I put mine in number 1, put the pigtail in there, wired it up, shrink wrap, all that good stuff, down to a relay, put my hot to there, grounded the lights and the relay to that bolt. The relay is mounted to a hole that was in this little plastic battery or fuse box cover. I'm not too fond about drilling holes over here to put relays in, and I'm not quite so sure if I like that setup right there, but that's what I went with for now. The wires going back to the lights are in wire loom. I went to O'Reilly and bought a whole box of wire loom. The guy's like, "We've never sold a box of wire loom." I'm like, "Well, I'm taking one, so get it off the shelf." Because I used a lot of it, and I'm tired of buying it in like 6-foot things. And now that I know I can get it from O'Reilly's by the 50-foot box, that's where I'm going to get it from. But I got my fusible link in here. Like I said, that's from the switch, so I hit that switch, sends signal to the relay, which draws power from here, all that good stuff. Got the wire ran under the truck, zip tied to the wiring harness that comes back to here. It comes up. These two lights are wired together, and then it runs across to where those two lights are wired together, and they're just butt connected together in here, which I don't know if I like that, but we're going to go with that for now. I might get a box and put there, one of them junction boxes, but for right now everything is pretty tip-top shape. It's a better wiring job than I normally do. I'll give it that, because most of my wiring jobs are on stuff like that, and it just gets done real quick. It doesn't get wire loom, but I'm getting better at that. I want my work to look good, and this is a little bit messier than I wanted it to be, but I guess we'll just have to ride with that for now. But in these here, I'll show you if I can get it out one-handed. You put your spades in there, but you see this white clip in here? You got to pull that out, and it doesn't come all the way out. You just pick that little tab up and it pulls out a little bit, slide your wire in and push that back in. Now I had problems with this because I was having a little bit of a special moment there, and I was trying to shove these in there because I was thinking, oh, that's green and that's green, but then I was like, well, that doesn't quite fit in the hole. And what happened is I bent, you guys probably won't be able to see, but you see that tab right there? I bent that one in port 1 down to where I couldn't push that in there. So I had to take a little pick and stick in there to push that up while I pushed in on that, because I could not get that to go back in, but they're in there tight. So that's how you hook stuff up to your upfitter switches. There is what they're called. I don't know anything about the PTO. Like I said, I know this truck is equipped with that option, and I'm thinking about either putting a PTO powered air compressor on here, which I really don't need a PTO powered air compressor because they got all the 12 volt powered air compressors that I can hook up to a battery fed switch and put in one of the toolboxes, or the toolbox. I want to get another toolbox for this other side, and then maybe at some point a toolbox for behind the tire or on be the driver's side, because you couldn't do it on the passenger side due to the exhaust. But you could put a little air compressor in there for airing up tires. But another idea I'm kicking around is a PTO powered hydraulic pump, to where I can put some hydraulic remotes on the back for if I buy some farm equipment or need to move some farm equipment that is not transport position. I can use my truck to pick them up and whatnot. Kind of build the ultimate farm truck, like I talked about before. If you guys go back into a couple videos where I had that black F350 and was talking about turning it into the ultimate farm truck, I can do that with this truck. It's just some thoughts that probably won't ever happen. The air compressor might happen though. I get one of them 2-on-2 Viair air compressors, and that could easily happen. But I just figured I'd show you guys how to do your upfitter switches there. Just a little bit different video. Like I said, there's some out there. Some of them don't touch on that. Like, I think the one that Ram put out, they told you to pull the little white tab out, but they didn't say anything about pushing it in or nothing. They just hooked that in there and plugged it in. And a couple other videos didn't even talk about that white clip at all. They just show you pushing the wire in and it stays. Well, you got to pull that little white thing out, put your wire in, and push it back in. So that can clear that up for some people that may had questions on that, because I was kind of curious about that myself. I pulled it out and I'm like, why won't this thing go back in? Is it not supposed to go back in? But it turns out I goofed up and bent that tab down. So that's, well, I guess I could show you the dash settings for the switches. The videos touch on that. Let me pause the video to take the flash off. Okay, and obviously, let's see, that didn't make it any better. Okay. It's gonna be glare, it looks like. Well, hold on. There we go, that gets rid of the glare. Okay. I go back here. The commercial trucks have a commercial setting, and you can't see that, but it says commercial. Click on that, you enter your PIN. Factory PIN code is 0000, which I left this truck at that. And right, the top one right there says auxiliary switches. What it's on now. You click that. Auxiliary 1. You can, hit type, latching, which I hit it, and it stays on, or momentary, you hit it and it only stays on while you push the switch. Okay, and then your power sources, battery or ignition, you can change that. The top one's battery there, the bottom one's ignition. And then last state. Last state is for if you have it on keyed power. When you shut the key off and you have it on, when you turn the truck back on, it'll remember that you had that switch on and it'll turn it back on. The reason it says the last state conditions are not met is because auxiliary 1, which we're on, has the 12 volt battery power. See, if I go to 3 and hit last state, it is on. So if I turned 3 on and shut the truck off and turned it back on, 3 would still be on. Excuse me. Then you got for your PTO type, it's got the trans mounted or split shaft, PTO mode, standard, remote, mobile, PTO parameters, that must be that's your RPMs. You can set it at the pin setup, and then you're back to auxiliary switches. But that's how you change your auxiliary switches. And this truck also has a neat feature for the trailer tow, which is if you go over here to your radio and go to settings and go down to trailer brake, it says trailer 1, 2, 3, and 4. Hit trailer 1. You would use that trailer if you have that trailer hooked up, but you go in here and you hit brake type. You have electric, or light electric, heavy electric, light electric over hydraulic, and heavy electric over hydraulic. So you can change it. Heavy electric would be if you have, say, a gooseneck fully loaded, you would hit heavy electric, and it gives you a greater gain range for your trailer brakes there. Light electric would be if your trailer was empty, or if you had a small, I don't know, little single axle trailer with brakes on it. You could, it doesn't have such a high gain range. It only goes up to 6 instead of 10. So there's just some other features that this truck has. For those of you that haven't had the need to look into the little upfitter series at the options and stuff, because I didn't have a need to look at that until I got this truck. But I'll pull it out of here and show you guys the lights. And well, I would say unhooked from the gooseneck trailer, but I actually shot the light footage before this, so I'm just trying to be sneaky and, you know, make you guys think that I filmed this first. But I didn't. I caught myself by saying that. So anyways, up next is me unhooking the gooseneck, which took place right before this section of video. So check out them lights. Tell me what you think. Okay, so I got my reverse lights on and my brake lights, as you can see here, and it's kind of hard to video. I got the camera, the phone, where you're on the face side, but you can see just about as good as I can. That's with the reverse lights. All reverse lights there. You can't see nothing. Here's what the lights I put on. Oh look, there's a camper back there and a van. Can't see that with just the reverse lights. Now in the mirror I can see a lot more than what I can see on the camera. So that's how much of a difference them lights make trying to back up. And I'm gonna have to put this down so I can back up without hitting anything. So here's outside the truck with the lights on. You can see it does a pretty good job, You can see where they are. I got these spots kind of turned out. That's what's right there and shining on that van, and them two just kind of flood the bed area, which is good. You can see I'll turn them off. I got them wired up to aux 1. I mean, you can see the lights, and this is actually with the flash on what it's like. So they make a big difference. I'm not quite satisfied with them. They were just some cheap lights. I mean, they're like aux beam knockoffs. They're not. They were. I think I paid $10 a piece, or not a piece, but a set. I got 2 of these and 2 of them. I bought them at a show, so they were discounted. Let me roll my windows up so the bugs don't get in here. So but they're definitely a lot better than no lights at all. And I might put some right there, some recessed ones in there or something. I would like to light up right in here a little bit. That's the area that's hard to see. These Dodge mirrors are kind of goofy. You don't really see much out of this mirror. I use this mirror more than anything backing up because I can see down here, but in the dark I don't have anything to light that up. So we may add some more lights to it, but man, them things are bright. Check that out. I'm liking that. But I think right here would be a good spot for one, and right here, right through there, that would really light some stuff up. Put that on like auxiliary 2 or something. That would be awesome. Might get into that, but for now, let me unhook this trailer.